Well, good Monday evening, everyone. It is, let's see, about a little bit before 6 o'clock Central Time here on Monday evening. Wanted to get on, probably do a final update video on currently Tropical Storm Idalia here in the extreme western Caribbean Sea, almost about to get into the Gulf of Mexico near the western tip of Cuba. I say final update because I will be launching out here from Dallas bright and early tomorrow morning and heading for Florida to intercept what will certainly be a hurricane and very possibly a major Hurricane Idalia. Sometime probably very late Tuesdays when impacts will start. Landfall now is going to be a little bit slower, probably not until daylight hours on Wednesday morning. That's certainly a good thing if you're kind of going there to observe the storm, but we'll also give a little bit more time for preparation. So right now we're looking at the infrared satellite here of Tropical Storm Idalia. Right now, 70-mile-per-hour sustained winds, so just a couple miles per hour below Category 1 hurricane strength. We got the Yucatan Peninsula kind of right here, western tip of Cuba right here that Idalia, the center, is just a little bit southwest of right now. And what you can see is a significant flare-up of convection compared to what we saw yesterday when it's very disorganized. Most of the convection and the darker colors were to the south of the center of circulation. This is kind of right here over the center of circulation. So center of Idalia is kind of right about here. So certainly we've got this flare up of convection, these very tall thunderstorms here right along the center. That does signify an intensification process that Idalia is undergoing right now. So when we do look at the visible satellite here, you can see it also a little bit better. And you can see kind of the center is right here underneath these most intense thunderstorms here. There's been a couple different periods where you could almost see a little bit of an eye forming. Again, I think we're probably a little bit too early in that. Certainly by tomorrow, once Idalia is up here in the Gulf of Mexico, I'm sure we'll see an eye, at least at times, peeking out from kind of the center here. And I think what you can see this big spiraling circulation here. And you can see the clouds here kind of moving off to the east. Got these clouds moving off to the north, these clouds spinning around off to the west, and then these clouds wrapping back around to the south. So very well-defined circulation here in the Caribbean Sea. You can see some of the interactions all the way over here to far parts of Cuba, the Yucatan, all the way up here into the Florida Keys as well. And you can start to see the circulation moving more that north direction here. And that's going to continue over the next 36 hours or so as it moves into the Gulf of Mexico and she sets her sights on the western coast of Florida, probably around the Big Bend area. So do want to take a look at the forecast cone of uncertainty here. So this is as of the 4 p.m. Central Time advisory. So we do have moving north at 8 miles an hour. So I think yesterday when we looked, it was about a 3-mile-per-hour motion. So certainly has sped up here a little bit. Winds sustained at about 70 miles per hour. So again, just below Category 1 hurricane strength. That starts at 74 miles per hour. So we do have very close to a Category 1 hurricane here across right near the western tip of Cuba. And then as we see moving forward in time here, by tomorrow afternoon, we will have a hurricane here in the southeastern Gulf of Mexico. And then likely by early morning hours Wednesday, very late Tuesday. Right now, the National Hurricane Center is projecting that Idalia will be a major hurricane here off the western coast of Florida. So major hurricane, that would be something in excess of 110 miles per hour. And then we do have our hurricane warnings here in red for really that Big Bend area of Florida, including the Tampa Bay area. Right now, it does look like Idalia is mainly going to stay a little bit west of Tampa Bay and make landfall here somewhere in the Big Bend area. So Tampa is not in the direct path, but we've seen storms that have jogged before. Hurricane Ian definitely made more of an eastward trend. The cone was a little bit more kind of like this, and Ian kind of started to turn off more to the east as he approached the land. So again, if you're in Tampa or the west coast of Florida, certainly wouldn't let my guard down. I would take this very seriously, especially with the storm surge threat in the Tampa Bay area. But it does look like sometime probably early morning hours, mid-morning on Wednesday is when we're likely to see landfall as a major hurricane. So serious impacts will be expected here in Florida. When we do look at those peak surge And what the National Hurricane Center is expecting, again, here in the Big Bend area, this red, this would be anywhere from 8 to 12 feet of storm surge. Down here in Tampa Bay, anywhere from about 4 to 7 feet, maybe higher here along the Tampa Bay area. But I think that most significant storm surge will be likely here in the Big Bend area because the storm spins counterclockwise, and so these southwest winds will continue to pile this water up against the coast. And because we have kind of this concave coast right here in the Big Bend area, that water just gets piled up and really doesn't have anywhere to go but to be pushed up and inland as well. So I would imagine storm surge will stretch a couple miles inland for sure, at a minimum, and that's if we don't get maybe even a stronger hurricane than is currently being expected. So definitely some pretty significant impacts will be felt here. One of the things I did want to look at is the forecasted intensity models here. So this looks at a combination of lots of the different models for the hurricane here. And a lot of them, again, are showing anywhere from kind of that Cat 2, borderline Cat 1, Cat 2. I think that's probably underdoing it, to some of these more zealous models that are showing all the way up to a Category 3 hurricane. So the National Hurricane Center in the 4 p.m. update, they listed that the approximate wind speeds at landfall will be 120 miles an hour. So that would be a Category 3 hurricane, and I think that's very realistic for what we're likely to see over the coming hours. I think we're going to see a very rapidly intensifying hurricane here over these coming hours, and certainly Tropical Storm Idalia currently, but then about to be Hurricane Idalia. Nothing to take lightly. This is going to be a significant storm, and certainly it looks like yet again another major hurricane that's going to strike the western coast of Florida. So again, I'm going to be leaving Dallas early in the morning tomorrow. I'm getting ready and loading up right now, getting everything together. I'll be heading towards Florida tomorrow, and certainly try to get there before the impacts are starting to be felt. Maybe try to get a little bit of sleep, kind of late Tuesday night, and then early Wednesday get out and get in position for the landfall. So definitely make sure that you're subscribed or turn on notifications. I'll be trying to live stream as long as there's cell coverage and cell towers and data is still available. Certainly try to live stream the impacts, and I think it's going to be quite the storm for sure. So hope everybody has a good rest of your Monday. Hope this update was helpful. Certainly, if you live on the western coast of Florida, take this storm very seriously. And again, I'll certainly be out there to experience it all and report back. So hope everybody has a good evening. I'll see you back for the next video.